Hi guys, welcome to a new video from me today, and today I'm filming a video all about all the different study techniques that I can think of and the pros and cons of them. So if you're looking to find a new study technique because you're studying for your exams, your GCSEs, your A-levels, exams at uni, tests, quizzes, whatever it is, and it's not going in and you have no idea what you're doing wrong and you're bored already, you're done exam season, you're done with it, you just want it over, maybe what you need is a new study technique to help you get back into studying, and maybe the study technique you're currently using isn't good for you, or if you know your study techniques already and you figured out what your best study technique is, but maybe there is one that you have never even thought of, and you, I don't know, maybe you'll like something I say in this video and it will help you. So that's the main goal here. So I've created a list and yeah, I'm just gonna get started and name them. Okay, so the first technique is mind maps. Yay! Probably one of my most favorite study techniques ever. What is a mind map? A mind map is essentially just like a title in the middle of the page or at the top of the page and little other bubbles coming out from that main bubble. Maybe I'll show you a example somewhere on the screen. The pro, or why is this technique good? This technique lets you see the links and similarities between different ideas. It can help you see if there's any existing relationship at all. It can show you cause and effect, how these two or different ideas are similar, how they interact. What this technique may not be good for is for definitions and terms and vocabulary. What would this technique be ideal for? I'd say this technique is best used for English Lit, history, psychology, sociology, religious education at A-level, I'd say. It can be used for science, like you can still make a mind map when it comes to biology, like you could make a summary mind map. There are different types of mind maps really, so this technique would also be good for essays. Like if you're writing an essay, it'd be quite good to make a mind map of it, which I've never done before. If it's like a essay where you have to compare different things, then using a mind map, I'd say, would be quite useful. The next type of technique is known as a Venn diagram. So what is a Venn diagram? Basically, you have one circle here, then one circle here, and there's a little section in the middle which overlaps. So you have something in the circle like, let's say, strengths of cognitive behavioral therapy and weaknesses of CBT, and then in the middle are strengths and weaknesses. This technique is good for just if you need to see the similarities and the differences. However, it's not good when there's more than two ideas being compared, because then it gets complicated. I mean, you could draw three circles if you want. What this can be used for, very, very useful when it comes to essays, and right now what comes to mind is geography A-level, because like I do remember there were some questions but there were similarities between a topic, and drawing up a Venn diagram would be quite useful. I also think it would be good for psychology, just depends what context, because it wouldn't be useful for everything. The next technique is known as a timeline. This is just like a timeline of events. This technique is amazing for history and placing events in an order. However, it might not be good if the events are very kind of detailed and there's a lot of information. There may not be enough space for you to elaborate on the ideas or whatever. So if it's like a small timeline that you need to do, then that would be what it would be most beneficial for. What this technique is great for is history. Amazing for history, but also it's quite useful for English literature when you need to place events in a time order. The next technique is flashcards, which again, one of my favorites. This is basically just like little cards that you make with questions or definitions or anything. Like these are so amazing, and yeah, they're like little cards and you test yourself and so on. You can create flashcards by yourself, you can buy them. There's also online websites that you can use, such as Quizlet, my favorite. This is good for helping you memorize because you can test yourself. If you need to remind yourself, you don't want to whip out a massive poster or a massive timeline, you can just whip out these little cards and start studying on the go. However, it's not so great if you're learning something very complicated and like there's a lot of information, because like you can't just write the whole topic on one piece of card. It's more for breaking things down, but sometimes you can't break that down, so there's a downside of this. This is amazing for, I'd say, everything, like definitions. It's so amazing. Like It's so great for definitions, learning another language. The next technique is more for students learning another language. These are vocab lists, vocabulary that you need to learn, and just creating a list of them so you can learn them. So in one column you have the word, and in the next column you have the definition or the explanation. And yeah, this could like only be used for vocab and for foreign languages, but I'd say it can be used for anything, because if you have a lot of definitions or keywords you need to learn in geography, then this would be quite useful. And I used to make keyword lists in geography and psychology, so you could turn this from a vocab list to a keywords list, so it's basically 2 in 1. The next technique is a step-to-step revision guide, which is something you could create yourself. It's just basically a step-to-step guideline or outline on how to do something, or like a step-to-step revision guide that you could create. You can also use this like to solve complicated processes, then you could like write out a step-to-step instruction on how to solve. This is good for seeing a methodological approach to something. Like if you're really stuck on how to do something, then this would be perfect. This technique is, I'd say it's like mostly useful for math students and math subjects, but it can also be used for sciences such as biology, chemistry or physics. The next technique, another one of my favorites, is rewriting your notes. The goal kind of, and like the aim of this, is to make your notes look prettier and neater and so on, but it can be really useful because you can see your notes more clearly, you can add to them, you can try to understand them better and so on, and making them colourful, if you're like a visual learner, can really help you. This is not good if you really care about the aesthetic and you're spending like 5 hours making one poster. That is then not good, because that 5 hours could be spent doing something different. It's also not good if you're on a time crunch and you don't have much time to do something. Like if you have half an hour before a test, rewriting your notes, making them pretty isn't like, it isn't a proactive technique of learning, so it actually might do you more harm than good. I'd say this is perfect for essentially everything, such as psychology, everything, and then I say psychology, psychology, sciences. Maybe not good for maths, because maths is more about like solving problems, but I guess you could rewrite them and make them neat if it's something you really struggle with. Like if there's one concept or a couple of concepts that like you just can't understand, then maybe rewriting them and making them look nicer will help you, because it'll make you focus more on the thing that you're solving or what you're doing. So the next technique is teaching someone else or pretending to teach. So this is when you explain the concepts or the class to someone else, or it can even actually include tutoring someone, or like tutoring a friend. Just be like, you don't know, pretending you're talking to a classroom and just explain the concept how you would if you were a teacher. This is great if there's something you're really struggling to understand, then talking can help you. And actually talking, for me personally, helps me to study more. Like if you say something out loud, it's more likely to be remembered. I think that's actually a fact. So explaining to a class, and it can also help you to see what you don't know, because if you like stumble and can't think of something, then you know that's something that you need to spend more time studying. This is not good when you literally don't know anything. So maybe this technique isn't good if you're just starting. This technique is great for literally everything, every single subject. Like for maths, you could get yourself a whiteboard and pretend to teach someone or actually teach someone. Now the last revision technique is reading. It's at the end because it's, I guess, one of the worst techniques, because just reading from a textbook isn't going to do you much, but reading your notes, I guess, is how most people study. This technique is perfect if you have a test in half an hour and you just need to read your notes, remind yourself of everything, so it's perfect for that. It's not good when you're trying to actively teach yourself something and like remember something, then it may not be as effective. This is useful for all subjects, and like I said before, like skim reading right before a test. So yeah, that's 10 techniques that I hope that help you guys. If you've never tried them out before, try a new technique at least once. And yeah, if any of you use these techniques, let me know in the comments. If they were useful and you tried them out, also let me know. And yeah, good luck in the exams that are happening. I hope you guys do amazing, and thank you for watching this video. If you're new, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.